organization, the student organization, come a new startup, has been able to bridge the gap between the leaders of today and tomorrow. I congratulate Vyas and his team for putting in such great efforts. And with this, not wasting much of the time, today we have with us Mr. Harshit Vyas, the Chief Business Officer, India, Oyo Hotels and Homes. Sir, I welcome you.
Hi guys, very excited to meet all of you. Thanks, Kanika.
Right. So, before we move forward, and I would like the audience to know a little about what Oyo is and what Harshit sir has been doing for the same. So, Oyo Rooms is a technology-driven branded network of hotels offering standardized stay experience at an unmatched price across the country and in many other cities of the world right now. Mr. Harshit Vyas, the Chief Business Officer, he has been able to set up Oyo's first office abroad at Kuala Lumpur, and he has been building its first overseas market, for which we congratulate him. He has also been leading the business across the country, working with business leaders and managing a very strong team of a big employee base across operations, business development, and sales, also the human resources. So we are delighted to have such a distinguished person between us today. And with this, I would now request Harshit sir to please tell his own story in his own words to all of us. Sir, over to you.
Thanks, Kanika. First of all, I would like to commend the great work that Vyas and team is doing. I think it's very important to bridge the gap that we have between students in the industry, and we also felt this while we were in college. So I think, and also this is about multiple other communities that exist in LPU, and also Kanika, that you have been hosting events which are helpful to many students and companies and communities. So good work, guys. So
Thank you.
and thank you for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to speak to students, and I learn so much from all of you. So coming back to my journey, like all of you, I was in college in IIT BHU, and uh, I think these are the most amazing times for all of us in our life. It is where you see a lot of opportunities, you see so many roads ahead, right? But the tough part is, how do you choose? Right? It is a question that keeps on coming in everyone's mind, that which path should I take? I'll tell you, it's a very tough one, and you'll not be able to figure out this answer clearly ever. It's a evolution. Every year you will learn something more about yourself. But what is important, what is easy to do, is to figure out what you don't want to do. That at least clears so many doubts in your life and time. That if early in your life, early in your career, if you are ready to take risks, you are ready to make mistakes and learn from them, then a lot of options you'll be able to pick off from your life. And you say that, okay, I don't want to do these things. Then there are fewer options, and I want to concentrate and do well. That will make your focus much sharper, and you will do great things in life. So there was a similar journey that I had in college. I like in 5 years I would have done like 400 things in 400 directions. I was a member of Indian Society of Nanosciences. I was working on carbon nanotubes. I was organizing events like this. I was running my own startup for 1.5 years. I was doing CFA. There was a time I wanted to go into investment banking. There was a time I wanted to be a scientist. There was a time where I wanted to start something on my own. Multiple things. Uh, but yeah, I started making my list to a narrower options going forward. So, so one of the early members of OYO, Anuj, who is my college senior, I used to meet him regularly, and I saw that how passionate he was about building this business. So I think the passion that Ritesh was carried in the early days was the attraction that I had. Because more than the business, more than anything, the biggest value proposition at the time was how passionate these people were in building a unique business model and creating so much impact across country. So that's how I joined. They said, why don't you come and try what we are doing, and that's how simply I joined. It was not a big long conversation or multiple days of discussion. Uh, then in just 50, then we started attracting so many similar minded people who were similarly passionate about what we do. I think that has been a great thing. Then for first few years, I was setting up the business development department for you. Business development working was the one getting hotels on board. Then I set up the center of excellence to set up processes every scale. Then I went to Malaysia for 1 year. Then I was leading Western region for a year. Now in my current role, I'm the chief business officer. I handle all the verticals in India, um, like information. That's what we.
Well, thank you so much, sir, for telling us your own story in your own words. And these are hard times, as we know. And, we have had two more keynote speakers before you. Yesterday, we had somebody from the industry, somebody from politics. And right before you, we had Ms. Srimati Shiva Shankar, who also talked about the role of balanced leadership in today's times, adverse times, right? So, what is your take on the same? I would like to know from you that you are in a position where you have to manage multiple teams across various operations and domains. So, what do you think? What are your opinions about the same?
Yeah, so I think ma'am was absolutely right that the need of balance and diversity is is so much needed, especially in these times. So we have a one of the key important value propositions for team members and the work area that we have is that our company should be diverse but equal. Right? So you welcome as many groups, communities, gender participation as possible, but you make sure that everybody gets equal opportunity. So that kind of balance is required. But that balance is a very broad word. It is not just about equality and diversity. How do you bring about a right balance of initiatives where you are pushing people enough at the same time helping them enough?
Yeah.
So, uh, so Kanika, absolutely, I agree that a balance is much more needed in these tough times as people, their families, communities, and companies, all of us are facing a tough time against this pandemic. So, being there for them, understanding them, extending a hand of help is very.
Right. So, sir, Oyo is one particular brand which we know today in a very short span of time, it has been able to catch the people's eyes. Everybody knows about Oyo. So, tell us that one thing that went right with the organization and you were able to achieve such a large, population sites and their hearts as well. How was the whole journey?
So, like I said, I think the biggest value that we was able to create was an entrepreneurial environment for super talented people. You know,
Right.
if we can have equal ownership, and when people used to join in early days, they used to ask us, "What is my designation?" We used to tell that all of us are problem solvers. All of us are equal. There is no hierarchy. We work together and solve the problems that we face for this mission. So having that kind of environment uh, that enables people to perform at their best was one of the key. Second, once you have those kind of people, how do you build processes around which can scale to the kind of ambitions that you have? So people and process are two fundamental pillars of for your growth story that you see, and that
I think
continues.
that is, I think that is exactly what drives an organization towards success. And I congratulate you for all your achievements and milestones achieved in the past many few years. So, with this, times have changed now. We are now in a post-COVID era, post-lockdown era. So, how is OYO coping up with the current situation, and how is it operating now post-lockdown?
So we are seeing very good positive response from customers. So uh, we are now operating across 20 states and union territories, including larger states like Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Bengal, Maharashtra, almost everywhere. And
Right.
our uh, our occupancy levels are already at 30% of pre-COVID. Uh, the, there are two big segments where we are seeing growth. Is one young millennials traveling, and second is small and medium scale enterprises, where people already started traveling for procuring goods, for providing services. So that's a segment that we are seeing good growth in. Also, over last 3 months, we have provided almost 100,000 room nights uh, for self isolation or quarantine. So
Yeah.
it has been a big focus area that how can we help state governments, hospitals, embassies to help all the stranded guests that we have. For example, we are working with 15 embassies. There are many embassies where there's a direct call line to customer support.
Mm-hmm.
If there is any foreigner of that particular country stuck, then their calls they land up at customer support center at OEM and help them in finding accommodation. At the same time, we have around 50 plus hospitals that we are working with. So that has been
Okay.
one side of it. The other side is how do you get your safety and hygiene standards up? So we have trained almost about
Yeah.
1,000 partners in an initiative
Mm-hmm.
called Sanitize School, where they are given a very strict SOP, what kind of cleaning materials to use, what kind of information to be posted or pasted in the rooms, in the reception area, what are the clear government guidelines that are there. So that has been a big focus area. Uh, Other than that,
Mm-hmm.
there are multiple partner level support initiatives that we have to understand that everybody is going to that time. So how do we support our partners and make sure that they are able to navigate these?
Okay. So there has been a lot of collaboration with the, like you said, a lot of high commissions and other places. I would like to know that since the lockdown, people weren't able to get out of their homes. How were you able to manage a team and get so many people uh, on board at that very moment, having these people work tirelessly, especially with people who were at the risk of being, COVID positive?
So it's a very good question. One, we have always ensured that the safety and security of our team members and community is the highest priority. None of the business priorities have
Yeah.
taken over that priority. So there are clear instructions to people, there are clear instructions to team members. But what has helped us in during this time is a lot of technology products that we're working on. Now they are those products have been
Mm-hmm.
released. Our partners have already been used. For example, we have an app called Koyo app for our partners, where we can communicate with them, where we can tell them about our transaction details, reconciliation, other schemes which are coming out. So that takes a lot of human interaction away. So our people over calls and over video
Yeah.
calls, we can explain them how to use Koyo app and what are the new initiatives. So people are working from home and they are doing taking all the precautions required. But at the same time, I'm very happy to share that the efficiencies are all time high. People are working uh, very efficiently. They are utilizing their times well, and the numbers are going up. So I think the technology has played a very good role in making sure that we are able to do.
Kudos to the efficiency and the efforts of the team, sir. One more thing is that currently the travel industry is something that is closed, shut down completely, right? And the hotel industry primarily depends upon the travelers and people traveling from other countries or even inside the country. So, what are the travel trends that OYO is witnessing currently?
So like you said that travel will never be same. So it's not that it is shut. People are traveling,
Yeah.
and there are some green shoots that in different channels that we see. For example, to share different trends. One is that still significant of the travel is happening in the larger cities. For
Mm-hmm.
example, Gurgaon, Bangalore, Mumbai, Hyderabad. They still continue to be have the larger portion. Second is our in-city staycation is picking up very fast. People are still choosing their personal transport options rather than choosing a public transport. So within the same city, travel is increasing, especially in larger cities. Third is for healthcare workers, there is a very large requirement that we have across cities, across states. So that's a big use case where healthcare workers, because they want to isolate themselves, they are staying in hotels which are specifically designed and being operated for such needs. The third, which I said already, is the small and medium scale enterprises. We are already looking at a very good trend of uh, increased travel, which is interstate or intrastate, but business people are traveling already.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
other trend is now people are looking for longer stays. Same person
Okay.
works in traveling for a day. People are,
Mhm.
for example, they travel for 5 6 days, so
Mm.
that again they are taking all the right precautions.
Right.
While traveling. The other big change that we are seeing now, there's a there's a large need coming uh, from especially millennials for
Mhm.
apartment service department. Because, for example, if you are not getting maids, you are not getting other domestic support, then people want to be in apartments which are hygienic, and you get all the services that you need. So there is also a big uptick in demand that we see for
Right.
space.
So Harshit sir, like you've told, like you said previously, that there are many new collaborations and partnerships with other people, right? So you are partnering with many suppliers and other organizations, I'm sure. So there must be some problems that these people must be facing because of the supply chain also has been hindered quite a lot during this period. So can you please share some of these challenges?
So, first of all, I'm happy to share that we work with almost 19,000 plus hotel and homes partners across
Hmm.
India. So that's a very large base. Uh, the big challenges that our partners are facing today, one is, uh, unpredictability of situation, right? For example, in a state, there is a lockdown for a weekend suddenly. Then the full week they are locked down. The next 15 days, there's nothing, and then another lockdown comes. And of course, for the all right reasons that government is doing. But
Yeah.
it becomes very unpredictable for our partners to plan their resources, their travel, and their operations.
Hmm.
Second big one is, of course, revenues have dipped, so cash flow becomes a challenge. Third is, there is a very big problem in finding staff. So because laborers, they have traveled to their home states, uh, still people are not willing to travel to larger cities. So it is another challenge that we are facing. So, but what we are doing is, for each of these problems, we have figured out that whatever best we can do and extend support to our partners, we are doing. First is, over the period of months, last few months, there have been multiple value-added services that our partners used to opt for. So we have given more than 24 crores of discounts in the commissions which were payable to us in the last 3 months. Second is, we are continuing our weekly reconciliation, so that weekly whatever payment is due, our partners get. So the working capital is not an issue. Third, uh, there's a scheme called OS Secure, which is like online wallet for our partners, where we are giving 30% top up to all our partners. We are giving discounts for recharges, etc. And fourth is sharing relevant information to your partners at any point, whether that is a new operating process, whether that is a new best practice, sending those emails, notification, working with governments to make sure that they are getting all the support. All that is what we have.
Right. So that was more about Oyo and business, right? Now I would like to know more about the real Harshit Vyas, whom most of us do not really know, right? Given the kind of chair you are sitting in right now, you are the chief business officer, you're managing operations across so many domains, a bigger team to handle. My question to you is that this chair has legs that always keeps shaking because someone or the other always comes and pops up with a new problem or something like that. So how do how are you able to keep people happy, keep so many people happy around you so that they are motivated even when they're working, or they're even happy when they go back home from work? How are you able to manage the whole thing?
Very good and tough question, Kanika. Uh, it is, uh, it is never about just making people happy. You always end up in
Mhm.
complex situation that you can't solve. It is about being fair in situations, right? So whatever is best for the organization, for the people, it might be tough. It might not uh, uh, make everyone happy all the time, but it is about being fair and honest with your team. I think that has always been one priority. Second is, it is a relationship of mutual respect. Then it's a happy partnership. If
Right.
you are able to extend the same respect to your team members for the hard work and effort that you're putting in, uh,
Mhm.
then they will value you. So it's a two-way road. So that is second. And third is transparency. If you are transparent with your team members, that okay, this is the solution. this is what is happening, or even this is the problem that I can't solve. But having that transparent relationship is another key foundation to have a very strong uh, 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 team situation that you know. So, and the most important is that the key team members that I have, they are so strong and so talented that honestly they do all my work. So, uh, I'm just taking the credit and that's what
I must compliment you here. You have very nicely been able to answer the very tough question you thought it was in at first. So, anyways, uh, there are times, I'm sure, you are in a hotel industry. Now is the time where everybody is locked up in their houses. So what is that one thing that you were able to do and learn during this lockdown?
So I spend more time in garden now.
Oh.
So find me digging mud here and there, putting more plants.
Mhm.
I always am excited to see new plants coming up, new leaves coming up. So
I can see greenery in the background as well.
yeah, it's like our house is full of plants.
Okay.
So every third day we are adding one. I think it's our bit of something for climate that we can do. And
Mhm.
of course, we keep contributing to the organizations which are into plantation and
Right.
climate change. But it is something that we do personally, and the kind of feeling that is unmatchable.
Mhm.
So I
Right.
think that gives a lot of positivity, and it is very relaxing being with plants.
Absolutely. Very refreshing at the same time. So, I was reading an article, and in this article, I would, it's rather a very nice thing to say. So, the founder of Oyo Hotel said that, I trust this friendship that I have formed with Harshit, and I trust him with his guts and everything. So my question to you is that, given the kind of support you have from the team, given the kind of position you are in, what are some of the initiatives that you see you want Oyo to be taking in the coming few years?
So all of us are working on one, making sure that, like I said, our technological products will become much better. Working
Mhm.
with our partners, customers. For example, there are still many issues for which our customers need to call our support center. How can we make sure that all those can be solved through self-help to our
Mhm.
mobile?
Right.
If there are similar escalations for our partners, why
Mhm.
can't it be self-solved through technological intervention?
Right.
Those are top priorities. The other one is that, as you know, customer experience is a journey. You are never there. I can't say that all customers are happy now. It is
Mhm.
journey of evolution. So other
Yeah.
big priority, like always, it remains that all our stakeholders to do justice to their expectations, whether that is customer, whether that is partner, whether that is our team member. So that
Mhm.
to uh, be a big priority that all of us need to push ourselves.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm. We have a very active audience right now watching you, Harshit sir, and people are impressed, I must say. So there is this person, her name is Muskan Patel, and she has a question for you that OYO has witnessed a large number of layoff rate in the past few months. So how do you see their comeback and new employ people? Unemployment rate is high, of course, tough in challenging times. But then again, how is OYO planning to get back this workforce or helping in the same?
so Kanika and hey, hi Muskan. So if you would have read the articles and the declarations or statements from our team earlier, that there was
Yeah.
no layoff in last 2 months. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
People were put on furlough, so uh, they were partially paid, and we were actively involved and actively engaging with all of them. And as we are doing that right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
but as all of you know, the times are unpredictable. As the situation improves, we'll continue to get our people back. But I don't know even if the WHO head today can tell that within next 7 days how situation will improve. We
Mm-hmm.
are trying our best. Uh, the situation that all of us are in as as a country, as a community, which is highly unpredictable.
Yeah, right. So we have another question, Harshit sir. It's this one's from Mr. Kshitij Shivani, and he wants to know that the hospitality or hotel industry has been impacted largely by COVID, and with Oyo being the biggest hotel chain in India, how have you managed to stay afloat? So Kshitij sir has very nicely answered the question in the previous parts. Did you plan this in terms of your runway? So did you?
I don't think any company in the world or any government or any authority would have planned this. If
Mm-hmm.
anyone would have seen this, we all would have planned it much better. But I
Yeah.
think this is the reality of life and reality of business that such
Mm-hmm.
tough situations will keep hitting you. What is important that how you react in situations because
Right.
not every situation can be planned. So
Right.
I think we have been trying our best to do this.
With this, a very interesting question has popped up. How does a business prepare itself and become more resilient? I would like this to know. I would too like to know this in your words. How do you think a business becomes more resilient? What are the few steps that can be taken?
One, I have always believed in this principle that business is made of people and products. So resilience comes from them. If you have a resilient team and if you have a resilient product that takes care of the market anomaly, then of course your business can be resilient. But but the big focus can be on efficiency. That
Mm-hmm.
how you build up efficiencies which are far higher than your normal needs. If you take away your eyes from efficiency for some time because business is doing fine, then you will not be ready for tough situations. Make sure that the business is efficient, product is getting better, you are taking customer feedback uh, as frequently as possible. So I would say that we as a company are obsessed with our frontline interaction, customer interaction. We keep talking to our partners, customers, almost on a daily basis. If you do that, you will know the reality. You will know what changes are required. So that will make your business resilient. And of course, I can talk about 100 more things, but these are like few
Yeah.
topmost things that come.
Right. So thank you so much again for for very nicely putting it up for every student who's watching you right now. And since many students and youngsters are watching you, Spasmodic Group itself is a new budding organization. What are your, startups are seeing a tough time in right now. So what are some of the things that you would like to say to these people?
I would say these are tough but very important times. You know, 50% of Fortune 500 companies were started in a time like this, and almost 7 to 8 of unicorns that we have in the world were started in times like this. So also, this pandemic situation has created a lot of opportunity. This is an opportunity for self-improvement, adding more skills, being more resilient. But all of us will come out way stronger than we can imagine. So I think be positive. Make sure that you are becoming a better person every day. If you are a startup, make sure you are becoming more resilient every day. You are rethinking your product strategy, you are rethinking your go-to-market strategy. But don't give up. It is not the time to give up, but it is time to get stronger. So that's my message. Uh, to my
Well, I'm sure people are impressed. A lot of love is flowing inside the comment section right now. So, Angela Mahajan has a question for you, and a very interesting question, rather. So, as we all can see, a very funny yet important thing has been declared by the government in the past few months that weddings are only supposed to happen with 30 people now. 50 it was earlier, but 30 people now. So, how do you see the wedding and events business for Oyo in future?
I mean, this is the way our culture has evolved over years. So I don't think this will go away. Uh, People are still optimistic and they are postponing their events rather than canceling any of those. Or there are people who are opting for smaller gatherings and making sure their guests and all. But we are seeing a big flow in future bookings uh, for after
Right.
2 months. So I think that continues to be a big thing. Uh, but of course, for now, people are uh, uh, taking all the precautions and they're worried. But I think that no amount of precaution is enough in the situation. People should,
A lot
should
of excited wedding pictures are already flowing and floating on the internet. So I'm sure that the events business would not be much affected, and especially would things would only be better in the coming few days, right? Um, so let's come to a different mood now. Harshit, so what are your hobbies? What are the things that you enjoy doing apart from handling the hotel business?
see one. Whenever I get time, I pick up my phone and start calling my team members because it's a family. I can't say it's just work that you can get off. Um,
Mm-hmm.
So I love speaking to my team, getting to know what are
Okay.
they up to, what are they cooking, what are they doing
Mm-hmm.
to help. So, and I'm fortunate to have a large team where it is never enough. There are so many people and so many talented people that I learn so much from. So whenever I get
Mm-hmm.
time, I pick up my phone, start calling and connecting. Second, I told you, me and my wife Divya, all of us, my mom, we'll just go to garden and see what's wrong, gaining what I want, what I, what can I do, um,
Mm-hmm.
and which vegetable should I grow
Yeah.
now, etc. And third, again, whenever I get time, that's
So were you able to impress somebody?
impress who.
But I was impress somebody with your cooking skills during the lockdown. Your family members, of course.
I could only impress by my efforts, not the skills. But yeah, I uh, I love pani puri, and I all I could make was the pani for it. But uh, but
Mhm.
I do my bit for it.
Okay. Well, with this, another audience question time. So, Amlan Mishra wants to know, how do you think is a balanced decision made during the adversity and not being, not panicking much during this scenario? So, how do you make most of your decisions?
So decisions, one, it has to be kept. It has to be keeping in mind your stakeholders, right? Like we talked about this earlier, and being fair, not emotional. So if you are emotional or panicked in a situation, howsoever
Mhm.
smart you are, you'll end up taking a wrong decision. Just make sure that
Right.
you are calm enough. You are thinking through, talking about scenarios, and then taking the right decision for your customers, partners, and team members. If you have those three lenses in mind, I think this will take you closer to the right answer. If you
That's
don't,
great. Absolutely great. Yeah. Uh, so many people who are watching us right now, and me personally, I think the past few months have been challenging and they have been very testing, right? Our patience has been put to test. So tell us about that one thing that keeps you moving forward all the time and keeps you in your positive spirits every time.
so I keep telling this to my team. They are my inspiration. The amount of stories I hear. Let me tell you few of them. For example, one team member in our Jaipur team, he distributes like almost 20 to 30 meals a day, uh, to the community nearby. Uh, there are there are people, their family is they're into healthcare. They are going
Mhm.
all the way out to help people.
Yeah.
So there are people who are health freaks and they are just crossing their limit. There are people who take like 25,000 steps a day. There are people who do God knows how many push-ups. So I mean, in
Mhm.
everything we talk about, I have so many inspiring people that I work with.
Mhm.
I always find myself short of those aspirations and say, okay, I need to push myself, do better, whether that is business, whether that is personal life. I think that is a great thing that OYO has been able to deliver, that we have so many talented people around, that you always feel there's so much more to do.
Right.
I think once you have that in life, that can be your friends, that can be your family, but always surround yourself with better
Mhm.
people, people who are tenacious. I think you will never be short of pushing yourself. I think that keeps me going.
So I think this one is the major takeaway from today's conversation, that all the positivity and all the goodness can be found right in ourselves and around us only if we look in the right places, right? So it has been a very, very good and interesting conversation with you, Harshit sir. So many people have been watching us live, and so many are still joining us live on Facebook, on YouTube, and other platforms where we are doing this. So, but there's the time constraint again. And before we part, I would ask you, being the young, being what would be your message today to your younger self? What would be your message?
One thing retrospectively, I think is very important, that please read as much as possible. You know, that is one way of adding a lot of experience as fast as possible. In my early childhood, my summers were like reading hundreds of books. That really added a lot of
Mm-hmm.
to my life. That is one. Second, whenever you are facing a situation, always put yourself in other person's shoes. Always. Why that person is doing what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You will learn so much, and you'll be able to manage situations in a way more mature manner that you can think. That's very important. I think these two takeaways, where uh, read as much as possible, you will get your experience doubling up like a weekday. Uh, Second is, think from other person's shoes, whether that is your friend, whether it is your family. You'll be able to manage situations in life, and that's all the life is about, right? You are reacting to things that are happening, you are proactively planning something, but there are situations every day, every second, and how you react, uh, uh, and then everything else is the outcome of your reaction. So I think that will help you in keeping that balance. So that's what.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so very much for joining us today in the e-business conclave 2020, Harshit sir. It was a pleasure hosting you and listening to all your thoughts and how OYO is going to is functioning and has been able to operate so well even during these hard times. I congratulate you, your leadership skills, your team for putting out such great efforts and helping people out even during these hard and tough times. So, with this, it's time to say goodbye. But before we part, again, I would like to congratulate Team Sportsmatic, and I would like to, congratulate everybody for putting in such great efforts and bringing to our screens none other than Mr. Harshit Vyas. Thank you so much for being with us, Harshit
Thank
sir.
you, guys. Thank you. Too. Thanks, Viva. Thanks, Kanika. Thank you.
Right. So, with this, the third session of e-business conclave 2020 comes to an end, but we do not stop here. We have another one coming live today at 5 p.m. So we will be having on board with us Dr. And I look forward to all your participation again. Thank you so much to Team OYO, to Mr.